Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to change the way the world eats. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm a certified nutritionist, health, nutrition, brain performance coach, and just someone with a lot of passion for helping you guys to learn how to use nutrition and lifestyle as precise tools to feel, look, and do your absolute best. Guys, by the end of this episode, you're going to become quite a different person, one of a kind person. You're going to finally understand what kind of mindset you need to switch to get much better, better than probably 90% of the people at building new skills and trying new habits. And why it's important, guys, is because anything you learn in this podcast in the area of new habits, new behaviors that you need to do consistently in order to get the results consistently. It's like, taking a shower or brushing your teeth. If you do it once in a while, you're not going to really stay clean or have healthy teeth, right? But if you do it every day, with teeth twice a day, preferably, then you get quite awesome results. And if you exercise, for example, every day, you get body that is so much better than average, just because you decide to invest into that habit daily. And you might think, well, duh, Angela, but it's actually not that obvious. And most of you still don't have the mindset necessary to make this happen. And throughout this podcast, in just a short few minutes, I'm going to explain to you how exactly it works and why you might need to rethink the way your brain works and some cognitive or mental models that you are currently using. But before we jump into that, it's kind of an introduction to the topic and example from my coaching, from real life of one of my coachees. One of my coachees, her name is Roxanne, amazing human being. We met actually when I was going to go through remote year program. Our program specifically was designed for 4 months, 4 different countries in Latin America, and you kind of work at travel. At the end, it didn't quite work out for me, but I met some amazing people like Roxanne. And then we ended up working together. I was her coach, helping her with nutrition and with lifestyle, with exercise, helping her to look better, lose a few pounds, but then also feel better. And so a couple of days ago, she sent me this testimonial, and I'm going to read it to you. Working with Angela is an investment that pays off in the long term. When I was working with her, and she actually told me that more in a message format, a text format, and then she decided to write a full testimonial. So when I was working with her, with me, meaning I wasn't always following her suggestions. But after we worked together, a few months later, everything clicked and I stopped drinking, I ate healthy and exercised daily. I'm feeling a lot happier now, and I attribute that to the nutrition, exercise, sleep, and mindset habits, tips that I learned from Angela. She's very professional and motivational, and I would 1000% recommend working with her. And in the messages, she also mentioned somewhere that a couple of times actually, that she's just feeling happier. So first thing, when you feel happy, I always say, if you make your brain feel good, any kind of lifestyle habits that make that happen will most likely stick. Everything and anything that makes you feel miserable will sabotage you sooner or later, usually sooner than later. So one takeaway from this is, if you are considering any diet lifestyle choice and it just makes you feel miserable and it's not going to stick, then reconsider what you're doing and find another approach. Most probably there is a way to get exactly what you want. Maybe it's going to take a little bit longer than your most impatient self wants it to happen, but it will stick again, because anything that makes you feel better and better and better will stick. Because, feeling happy, guys, again, I wanted to mention, your brain's feelings are a way of your brain to tell you whether you're doing okay overall good or really good or not so good. So when you feel something like feeling happy, it means that your brain, as having assessed the situation inside and out, decided that you are indeed doing well. Your health is improving, mental and physical, and you are in a non-threatening but thriving environment. And so what was really important for me, as she mentioned without me having to ask for that, Roxanne mentioned, I'm feeling a lot happier now. But then another thing that I wanted to bring your attention to is this phrase: a few months later, everything clicked and I stopped drinking, ate healthy, and exercised daily. And you know what clicked, guys, is that Roxanne stopped, like many of us do, trying to adapt new habit, new lifestyle, new diet. Roxanne stopped treating her lifestyle as a diet, as something that she had to do just for this brief moment of suffering to get in her ideal body weight that was supposed to make her happy. She stopped treating it like that, and instead she accepted it as just something she does, something that is a part of her lifestyle, of her personality, something that makes you feel good. And things that make us feel good are worth keeping. And then she also mentioned I lost 10 pounds and, overall got everything she wanted. She just didn't think that the way to weight loss and looking and feeling better was through just consistent habits. There is no hack. There is no special exercise program. No, there are just certain habits that have been shown by studies, by research, by data that work for a healthy, fit, happy human being. And when you do them consistently, after a while, they bring the same result to all people. People get better and better and better. So she gave up this idea that it was one-off thing she did, and instead Roxanne focused on lifestyle change. And when she gave in into this idea and stopped resisting that, trying to get back to normal and drinking and all that stuff that didn't make you happy, that didn't make you healthy, that didn't make you feel good at the end of the day, long term, when she gave up that idea of old self and just invested into consistent actions of her new lifestyle, her new self that made her feel better, everything indeed clicked. And that's the mindset that you want to adopt when you're trying to change any behavior. It's not a one-off thing that you have to suffer through. It's something that you decide to do consistently as a part of your new identity, as a part of your new lifestyle. So you get certain results consistently. Yesterday we talked about focus and all the environment and lifestyle choices that you want to be doing if you want to maximize focus and make focus automatic and easy. Like for myself, I don't struggle with focus. I need to get shit done. I ask myself, why do I need to get this done? When is the best time? And I get to doing that. There is no struggle. And that's because I know how to put together all the conditions, all the habits, and I practice them regularly, and focus is easy and automatic. If you want to learn what are those conditions for easy focus, then please listen to our episode that we did yesterday. Everything from lifestyle to supplements, everything that is data research based and applied to any human being out there. But today, again, what you want to understand, guys, everything that you're trying to change, any habit, any behavior change, it's a skill. And this is the exact mind switch that you need to do today if you want to get much, much better at building new habits and skills fast. So it's a skill. What am I talking about here exactly? If, for example, you want to be healthier and fitter and look better, you want to eat better, right? One of the aspects of eating better is eating more things like vegetables and fruit. And some people, they approach it as, well, now I gotta eat vegetables, I don't know, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day long, a lot of them. And then they maybe start and they cook it for the first time and it doesn't work out all that well. And then when they eat it, their stomach kind of doesn't feel good. And they're like, well, that probably doesn't work for me. Everything is a skill. And just like any skill, at the beginning, we are always not good at it. It feels awkward. It feels wrong. It feels like it's not for us. It feels like it's the most natural thing to do. We usually end up doing it in a wrong way. And then we're frustrated and we didn't get any really results that we hoped to get. And we give up. But that's not how any skill works. Like imagine you want to stop running really fast. You don't expect yourself to go from zero doing no running and being getting out of breath after like a minute of running. You don't expect yourself to go from there to being an elite sprinter, do you? You don't. But the same thing goes to a simple thing as eating vegetables. Your digestive system, it is used to a certain way of eating. And if there was not a lot of vegetables included, guess what? Your gut microbiome, your digestive system, all the digestive enzymes, they're not going to be wired or good at digesting certain foods like vegetables. Vegetables are much more different than, let's say, from a sandwich. And so if you've always been eating quite a processed food diet, and then you switch to vegetables, guess what, guys? You don't have the machinery to really metabolize that all that well. You don't have the gut microbiome that does well digestion of all of these fibers and extraction of all of these nutrients. Your stomach, your small intestines in general is not that used to dealing with a lot of fiber. And also, you might not be cooking your vegetables in the right way because you just don't have the skill and you decided to just winging, and winging maybe didn't work quite well, right? And the first meal, again, your stomach might feel off, like a lot of gas, a lot of bloating, but it's not because you're not suited for vegetables. It's because your digestive system literally is out of shape for digesting vegetables. It took me about a year of consistent eating of vegetables and increasing the amount and introducing different kinds when after a year I could say confidently that now I'm good at eating vegetables. My digestive system is not experiencing any troubles at all. I can eat a pound of vegetables cooked in a certain way and my stomach feels totally fine and I'm energized and I don't have, this pregnant belly when we get sometimes when for some reason our digestive tract, our gut microbiome start producing all these kind of gases or other byproducts that make your stomach blow up a little bit, right? So eating vegetables is a skill and you're bad at it. Your stomach, your digestive system is bad at it. But if you do it consistently, you learn how to cook your vegetables right, how to make them tasty, the way you like them. You get different microbes that are much better at digesting all those fibers and nutrients in vegetables, and you get better. And so this is the switch, guys, that you need to make when it comes to approaching any skill, whether you are approaching a diet change or a sleep skill. Like you decided to sleep better and you're like, oh, now I know all the details, it's got to be dark, it got to be cool, it got to be quiet, and I got not to eat 3 hours before bed and stop my caffeine at 8 to 10 hours before bed and not drink alcohol. Like I know that, okay, now I'm just going to do it and everything going to work perfectly. Guess what, guys? It's not gonna work perfectly, especially if where you start is so much further than from that ideal situation. And also, you probably don't have the skill of how to adjust in changing life situations in different environments, like if you travel, or maybe you don't have blackout curtains, or maybe you're sleeping with someone who's on a different schedule, right? So it's not gonna be perfect, but it's not because it's not ever gonna work in your life. You just got to practice it more and figure all these minor details out. Or if you decided to exercise and you like exercised for one day, you're like, shit, it doesn't feel good. I feel kind of tired and wasted. And the next day I have pains all over. This sucks. But guess what, guys? Your body's reaction to that exercise also gonna change a lot comparing that to after a first day and after, let's say, a year of consistent workouts. It also will change a lot whether you do it by yourself, not knowing much, or you hire a professional, even if it's for one session or a couple of weeks, where you get to learn a lot of things that people with experience do differently, so they feel much better and get much better results, right? And whatever it is you're trying to do. Also, guys, there is a myth that it takes an average to build a habit 21 days. And then if you don't build it in 21 days, then you suck at building habits. First of all, most people don't know the science of building habits. Things like start small, start tiny, choose the most effective, but also the easiest thing to do that qualifies as doing that habit. Make sure that your environment promotes that new behavior, making it easier. And also, if you're trying to break a habit, that in your environment, everything supports it. So you make that behavior that you want to break or that habit more difficult to do, right? And you gotta celebrate each time you perform the behavior, however badly at first, to wire that new habit faster. So first of all, most people don't use that science. They just I'm just gonna willpower my way through it. This is like the worst way to do it, but most people, that's how they do it. Or people just give up. They're like, it's not for me. It feels unnatural. First of all, again, to feel natural, any new behavior, it's going to take time before your brain rewires itself. Until that, it's all going to feel unnatural. It doesn't matter what you do. The second thing, on average, actual data taken from humans and human studies shows that it takes anywhere from 18 days to 254 days to adopt a new habit so it feels automatic. On average, they say 66 days. But again, anywhere from 18 to 254 days. And of course, that depends on many factors, how easy that behavior that you chose, how close it is to what you're already doing, how your environment supports it, how well you actually, build habits, how well you use the science of building habits. But anywhere from 18 to 254, that's what it takes for a behavior to feel natural. So if at any point, you did it for like 5 days and you're like, oh, it kind of doesn't feel good, that feels unnatural. Well, guess what? That's exactly how it's supposed to feel. When you're building a new habit, it's supposed to feel unnatural, like not your thing, like something unusual. It's not supposed to feel natural. It might take you almost like a whole year to feel natural. So the mind switch that you need to do is also not expecting your new behavior to feel natural to you, and not treating it is something that you just start and it just happens. It's a skill. You're going to first be bad at it, and then over time you get better and better and better. And over time, it indeed will start to feel natural. I eat a lot of things like sardines or vegetable these days. But guess what, guys? Sardines, first time, I tried them when I was 28. Most of the foods that I'm eating regularly right now, I tried them quite late in life when I learned all the science of nutrition. Because back then, almost just like now, there is no nutrition education. And I used to do all crazy stuff that, in fitness industry they used to do, in bodybuilding world without proper knowledge. I would try all kinds of the diets that sabotaged my mental and physical health and performance. And before I started doing things in a smarter way. And vegetables, when I was a kid, I barely ate any, right? And so when I started doing more and more vegetables as an adult, somewhere probably around 25 years old, of course, my stomach felt kind of off. And I even went keto, probably mostly because I couldn't really eat a lot of all these plant foods. But guess what, guys, now? Now I'm eating all the plant foods and beans and lentils, given, of course, that they are prepared in a scientific way, not just throwing things in a pan and expecting them to turn out perfectly. But still, I got better as an adult. It was not a natural thing for me. And I gave it time, again, for vegetables to get where I am now. Probably took me a full year to figure things out, how they worked for me and for my digestive system to get better. Takeaways. Number one, don't treat any change in your behavior as one-off thing. Don't figure out what's your personality, what you actually want, what's your identity, and what behaviors make you feel good. And take time to build those habits, those behaviors, not expecting them to be perfect and feeling natural. That's the switch, guys, the main switch in your mindset that you need to do. Don't expect new behavior to feel natural, to feel good. Don't expect yourself to be perfect at it. Allow it the time to feel awkward and shitty and not really working. But then, of course, try to improve, try to learn from people who did it. That's the best way to accelerate that progress. Build your habits by science. But the most important, guys, understand that it's not going to take one day. It's not going to feel natural. And also, things usually that make you feel shitty will not stay with you. So figure out a way how to make your brain enjoy it, bringing you health, fitness. And if you have troubles figuring out what's like the best behavior to make my brain work right, or for my body to get fitter, and for me not to struggle with weight loss all the time, I have experience in all of these areas more than a decade. So please reach out. I'll give you, the best roadmap where I would go with all my experience. And again, don't expect new habits, new behaviors to be perfect, to feel natural. That's just not how it works. In your brain, old behaviors are like old roads. They feel natural. You have those tracks that make the movement along those tracks easy and natural. Every time you're introducing new behavior, the more complex it is, the newer and different it is, your brain will literally build a new path between neurons, between your brain cells, to introduce that behavior and implement that, and with consistent repetition to make it feel natural, to make it easy, to optimize it, right? So while your brain is doing that with your repetitions, you will experience discomfort, it feeling awkward, unnatural, and all of that stuff. So just get used to that. And guys, have an awesome weekend. I'm done for today, for this week. Hope you learned a ton this week about focus and different nutrition concepts. I feel like every week, I finish the podcast. It's like we talked about so many things. You probably are doing so much better. But the key, guys, is always start small, one thing at a time. If you have questions, if you have doubts, if something isn't clear, reach out so you have crystal clarity, because only then it's much easier to implement that behavior. So reach out with questions as usual. Share this podcast, or at least the skills that you learn, and plan something awesome for the weekend. Refresh, restart, and get after whatever is meaningful and important for you with refreshed strengths and mental power again next week. Reach out, have an awesome weekend, and till next time, as usual, eat better daily.